What up, y'all? It's your boy Robbie, and we are back for another react. So this one is going to be coming from Podic Flacco. It's going to be talking about Jay-Z's comeback interview was an epic fail that backfired badly. I did watch the interview. It was quite interesting, just to get his perspective and take on the state of hip hop and how far it's come and things like that. But I want to see what he's talking about as far as it being an epic fail, and then I'll give my 2 cents. I'll try not to stop the video too much because apparently some people in my comments say I talk too much. So we're going to let the video do all the talking, but I am going to still chime in because I can't just watch a video and not say nothing because now I'm still in their IP. We ain't trying to do that. So without wasting time, make sure you like, sub to the channel, leave the comments down below. Let's get to the video.
Jay-Z attempts a comeback. He schedules this interview with GQ. That was a scripted interview. They knew the questions beforehand. He answers the questions on cue. But the purpose of this interview was to convince us that him and Roc Nation aren't as terrible and evil as the world is making it out to seem. I think at some point during this interview, he did say they're going on the offense this year and not the defense, meaning they're going to be proactive in trying to deconstruct the narratives instead of letting the narratives fester and then have to send copyright strikes and go after independent small creators who are just doing their job by reporting on the treachery of Roc Nation.
And the truth is, at the end of the day, it still reigns supreme.
When you're feeling these feelings, how do you then bounce back and get back to being Jay-Z?
I don't know. This is the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
Actually, it was just like, all right, man, we played enough defense. 2026 is all offense.
Politicians perfected this skill, but the upper echelon of celebrities have also taken on this skill, which is making a scripted interaction look like it's genuine. If you watch this interview with an untrained eye, you would probably think, oh, this is just a genuine conversation. They're just going with the flow. No, this conversation was scripted from stop to start. Like, for God's sakes, they had a 60-year-old wearing grills and an almost 40-year-old dressed like Miles Morales. Whoever was like the producers or the script writers for this interview, they thought, how can we make this feel authentic? Jay, wear some grills. Let the people know you are for the culture. Hey, you 40, dress up like Miles Morales. They even told bro, hey man, put the hat towards the back. Yeah, wear the hat like this. Man, whoever.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I would kind of dress like Frazier there. I mean, in a way, I kind of still do, dress like that. I mean, I feel like you're as young as you want to be mentally. You're as young as you want to be physically. That all requires that you work out, eat healthy. Some people are well into their 40s and 50s and you wouldn't know because they take good care of themselves. They know, they watch what they put in their body. Jay wearing the grills and all of that, I mean, Jay been wearing grills since he started, rapping. So maybe that's just something he felt like doing. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm being objective here. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue.
Dress, bro, he dressed like how people think black people dress, right? From start to finish. It's just a fact, bro. I remember at some point during this interview, like he asked Jay-Z, man, how do it feel to be a universal soldier, a warrior for the culture? And you have people blaming you for being a capitalist. I said, what's the question? Hey, bro, how do it feel to be so great? Like what? Nobody has ever in life said, Jay-Z, you're just too good of a capitalist. Cut it out, man. But this is one of those scripted questions that he requested to be asked. He requested they call him a universal soldier. I said, this is just absolute malarkey, but it ultimately backfired. The PR he was looking for, he didn't get it.
Sticking with a written testimony, you have a couple of verses on there that I really like because they kind of speak to what's going on with you in a broader sense in the culture, like on Universal Soldier, I think it is, when you said that you don't keep the same energy for the DuPonts and the Carnegies.
Yeah.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about this idea of like you said earlier, like the things that you do for the culture, the ways that you put on, the ways that you try to protect and move forward, but kind of the pushback that you get sometimes about like people throw capitalists at you in a derogatory sense.
Yeah, I think in that verse specifically, the only thing I heard coming up was the American dream until we started being successful. And it was like, wait a minute, you're selling out because you're making money. That was the first thing that was put on musicians. People had this law for the struggling artist. That's a mind game, what we would call back in the day for tricknology. It was like, no, I'm not going for that. Like, no, I make art first. And then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take it. No one. That's not my reputation. That's not what I do. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people or taking advantage of, the loopholes in the system or some wrinkle in like a capitalist structure. That structure exists, and I just see the world for what it is, not for what I want it to be. I'm a realist, not an ideal. It's not idealistic.
Have you ever heard anybody say, "Oh man, Jay-Z, you monetize your art too well. How dare you make those albums and sell the way you sell?" Man, cut it out, bruh. Nobody in the history of life have ever said that. You've never heard anybody say it. You've never heard anybody say that ever in life. But what people have said when they call Jay-Z a sellout, I can go down the laundry list if you want me to. Right? I would have asked, hold on, bruh. Did you tell Jermaine Dupri not to work with the NFL when they approached him to do the halftime show? Didn't you tell him not to work with the NFL because we was boycotting the NFL? Just for you to take the Super Bowl job and start working with the NFL and then tell black folks, we done protesting, we done blackballing the NFL. What's next? After you got hired, after they gave you a check, after they gave you again, the NFL paid Jay-Z to be a cultural regulator. Jay-Z was that one black person they had on the plantation to watch out for any escape plans. Black folks was protesting. We was done with the NFL. They gave Jay-Z a check to tell us to stop boycotting. After he got hired by the NFL to make them look good, Rock Nation called up TMZ to run a bad story on Colin Kaepernick. This is why we call Jay-Z a sellout, for doing things like this.
It was Nessa, and she was talking about Nicki Minaj's claims about a smear job that Jay-Z had against Colin Kaepernick. But I know for sure, that Rock Nation was seeding negative stories about Colin Kaepernick during the time that he was really in traction with Jay-Z. For sure. I've told this story before, I'll tell it again. This is another story where I give Harvey a ton of credit, right? So I'm at my desk one time. This is after the Rock Nation NFL deal has been announced. And give Harvey more credit than just with how he played this. I'll give him credit for the fact that he goes, hey, I just got this information on the phone. I know who was on the other end of the phone. I know who Harvey's Rock Nation contact is, right? I just got this information on the phone. And all of these things about Colin Kaepernick is what I just got told, right? He comes over to me and he tells me all of these things. And it was the whole Colin Kaepernick doesn't really want to play narrative. Like Colin Kaepernick didn't go to this training, or he sabotaged himself this way or whatever. Actually, it was the same thing that people had started to hear on First Take. And it was a narrative that was getting around because either it was coming from, what I thought at first is that either it was coming from players that had played with him or people that knew things. I don't know, but I had heard it before, right? And Harvey comes over to me and he says all of this stuff. And he's like, yeah, did you know that he actually doesn't really want to play? And I looked at Harvey and I said, look, I don't think that we here at TMZ should be getting in the middle of what's going on between Colin Kaepernick and Jay-Z.
The really dense.
I mean, to a degree, I can understand where he stands with that. But we got to remember TMZ is a media outlet, a news outlet. So they got to be the first on it. You know, they want to be the first to it, have the first story put out because they got to get clicks. They got to get those, they got to get that traffic. So It's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. We shouldn't get in the middle of it, but we gonna get into the middle of it.
Jay-Z defenders and Rock Nation cult members will say Rock Nation called, not Jay-Z. Right? Jay-Z owns Rock Nation, right? When Rock Nation calls, they're calling on behalf of Jay-Z. And it's no coincidence that Jay-Z signs up to the NFL. Colin Kaepernick criticized Jay-Z for working with the NFL and telling black folks to stop boycotting. And then Jay-Z and Rock Nation began to tell people, hey, y'all shouldn't be boycotting. Colin Kaepernick don't really want to work with the NFL. He don't really want a job with the NFL. Huh? That's why people call you a sellout. It's not because you're a capitalist, bruh. Right? It's because you a snake. And you'll be doing some selling out and bootlicking. This is what you're known for. Now, I ain't got nothing personal with Jay. But, I don't know. It's maybe because I'm in media, man. I just value genuine interaction. And when I'm seeing a clear, scripted interview being passed off as like a genuine, man, it's like, all right, bro. Like, come on, man. Even like the following stuff, like when he's asked about Drake and Kendrick in this battle, in this beef, what he says is probably just as absurd as his capitalist statement.
I have no idea. Okay.
Couldn't tell you off top.
That no longer exists. And the last pillar is battling. We love the excitement. And I love the sparring and the music you get. Mm-hmm. But in this day and age, it's so much negative stuff that comes with it that you almost wish it didn't happen.
Now, this part of the interview, I was kind of like, meh, I wasn't really agreeing with that, because to say breakdancing, there's so many different forms of dancing as it relates to hip hop. The Running Man, pop locking, the Dougie, Harlem Shake. I mean, I can go on and on and on. The dances have evolved. Dances never went anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Even if you want to throw getting sturdy in there and stuff like that. So dance, it has always been an element of hip hop, and it's not going to go anywhere. Graffiti is not going anywhere either. So it's just, graffiti is just done in different ways. People take graffiti and they put it in their contemporary art and stuff like that. What else? He said, let's see, dance, graffiti. Damn, I'm forgetting the fourth pillar now. Well, the third pillar. You have MCing. And what else? I forgot the other one. It'll come back to me. But yeah, I didn't agree with him on this. Like, nah, those elements of hip hop are still very much relevant. It's just that corporate hasn't really found a way to monetize that. You feel me? Because not everybody can dance. Dancing is something that requires a skill or whatever. But yeah, let's continue.
Really?
Yeah, because it's almost like it's a final thing. Now people that like Kendrick hate Drake.
Yeah.
No matter what he makes, no matter what he says, and it goes far too. It's like attack on his character and his thing, and it's like, I don't know if I love that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's helpful to our growth, where the fallout lands, mm-hmm. especially on on social media, which takes place every day.
Yeah.
And now you have these pods of cult.
The Stan armies fighting.
Yeah, and it's like, it's too far.
Yeah.
It's like bringing kids in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't like that. Maybe I've grown in a space that is probably, I sound like the old guy wagging the thing. But I think we can achieve the same thing as far as like sparring with music, with collaborations more so than breaking the whole thing apart.
Yeah.
You know who he sounds like right there? And y'all gonna think this is crazy. He sounds like Dame. He sounds like Dame Dash. If you follow Dame on Instagram, Dusko Poppington, this is kind of the sentiments that you hear him saying, like, yo, do things together, tearing down black men and stuff like that. So it's interesting that these two aren't really on speaking terms, because they really sound like they speak in the same language, even though they don't really rock with each other like that. You know what I'm saying? I think for Dame, he may feel like Jay is too corporate for him. And, Dame was always kind of like, fuck the system and we're going to do it ourselves and stuff like that. But, yeah.
It could stand it before, because there was no social media and there was no thing, and you know, you had the battle and it was fun, and then you moved on.
Right.
Right now, I don't know if it could stand it with the technology that we have.
Because it takes up so much oxygen.
It takes up so much oxygen.
Yeah.
And now it's just like every day they're just trying
They're
to
still
take,
talking about it.
It's not just talking about it. Not like, yo, this song I like this.
Yeah.
No, it's like trying to tear down the people's life.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like trying to, you know, wreck this guy's marriage or this guy's relationship with his child. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
Again, I love the idea that we got so much music in such a short period of time.
Great music.
Just everything around it was just like, man, it's like taking us a couple steps back.
Yeah.
And we just grown so much that I don't know if, I guess I'm gonna say it, I don't know if battling needs to be part of the culture anymore.
Man, listen, one thing I will say about that is that we got to understand rap is a genre of music that is, you know, been heavily doused in testosterone. It's been like that since its inception. And me personally, I don't feel like that needs to necessarily be completely done with. And battling is definitely something where, you know, niggas can get their shit off. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you think about the epic battle between him and Nas, I mean, that was like a staple in hip hop, because in the end, you both was able to put your differences to the side and be mature men about it and join forces and do a song together and be on stage, and you know what I'm saying? So it isn't to say that you can't do that nowadays. It just all depends on the individuals. Like, yo, Kendrick and Drake could very well, you know, put this behind them. You feel me? And do collaborations again. It would be good for the culture. It's like, yo, we was able to battle, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like two dudes duking it out, and it's just like, yo, they respect each other in the end because neither one of them backed down. You know what I'm saying? So, nah. Battling needs to very much stay. It's a part of hip hop. It's in its DNA. That ain't gonna go nowhere.
The thing about Jay-Z is really great at making his own personal issues look like a cultural issues. And then he utilized the culture to solve issues in his personal life, even if it doesn't benefit the culture. Like, for example, Tidal. Jay-Z wanted to line up his pockets. Jay-Z needed investors to come in. Jay-Z needed to build something and to work up this business that was, for the most part, destitute. Like, Tidal was a company that really was not competitive with other streaming platforms. So you know what Jay-Z did? He made his problem, which is this Tidal thing that is not really performing or going up, he made it a cultural issue. Hey, man, this thing Tidal is for Black people. We're going to bring in our Black creators and we're going to pay them more than anybody else. We're going to give them equity because this is for us and by us. And then Black folks rally around Jay-Z. The culture rallied around Jay-Z. Artists like Rihanna and Nicki Minaj signed up to exclusive deals with Tidal because they were getting equity.
She didn't even get paid, I don't think.
Man, Jay-Z ran up Tidal, man, sold it for like $300 million and ain't give them a goddamn thing. Same thing here. Jay-Z is upset because Drake stans. OVO stans have been really vocal and really loud in their critique against Jay-Z because they feel like Jay-Z took the side of Kendrick Lamar. They feel like Jay-Z has been doing some underhanded things. Now, they wouldn't be wrong when they say that Jay-Z picked the side because, like Jay-Z liked Kendrick Lamar more. For whatever reason, he likes Kendrick,
Which is interesting because, I mean, Jay-Z and Drake have had a history and a string of songs together. Drake was on his Blueprint 3 album on that song, We Off That. I think that's the name of the song. Well, I think that's the title, but that's one of my jams. He was on Drake's first album. I think it was called Talk Up or something like that. The names miss me right now. Y'all gotta understand, this was like over 10 years ago. But that, and then he was on Scorpion. So it's just interesting that they would say this because they've done music together. I don't know. I'm kind of like, that doesn't make any sense because they work well on the track together. It's weird.
More. Jay-Z obviously picked a side in this battle because, his friend, Dr. Michael Eric Dyson, he said publicly that when he wrote a positive article about Drake, Jay-Z contacted him to let him know why that article is incorrect and shouldn't exist and how Drake and this and it. So Jay-Z obviously picked a side. You think if somebody writes a positive article about Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z is contacting them to dispute the positive article? No. So Jay-Z will make it seem as if, oh, he's neutral. Oh my God, this is sad. No, the only sad part about it is that a large percentage of hip hop fans who just happen to be Drake fans have turned against Jay-Z, have turned against Roc Nation. And they're very public and very vocal about it, very loud about it. Jay-Z would even admit to such a little later in his interview.
Interesting.
I hate that I have this point of view. I do, because I know what it sounds like. I know what it feels like. I hate it. It's just how I feel about it.
Well, it even kind of extended to you, right? Because people made it a personal thing that you chose Kendrick for the Super Bowl. It's like, oh man, he's choosing the side and he's and he's not.
Like I don't have, what do I have to do with that? I chose the guy that was having a monster year. I think it was the right choice.
Word.
It wasn't in some sort of alliance to a battle. I don't.
Yeah.
What I care about them two guys battling, like, what's that got to do with me?
Word.
Have at it. Have fun. It's almost like, not just me, by the way. They drag everybody in it. Like, everyone's part of this conspiracy to undermine Drake, I guess. But, like, what the like, what? I'm Jay-Z. or due respect to him. Oh, do respectfully.
Word.
Like, for what? To what end?
Yeah.
It couldn't be that these guys just don't like each other.
Yeah.
And I think they haven't liked each other for a long time.
Before you had anything to do with it.
For a while.
Yeah.
I think this has been brewing, just like me and Nas was brewing.
Yeah.
It didn't happen at the Summer Jam. That happened at Lex and TV sets, the minimum, whatever. It was a whole bunch of stuff leading up to that point.
Mint Fleek, what is the Mint Fleek slugs in your hat, right?
It was slugs in your hat. It was a bunch of like little things that led up to that point. And then when it happened, I actually regret that because I really like Nas. He's a really nice guy.
Other people like Joe Budden and others had an issue with what Jay-Z has to say about in terms of battle not being no longer part of the culture or we should move past battling. They had an issue with it. A lot of people did. Now, what I'll say is I don't completely disagree with him, right? I don't feel like particularly that Jay-Z is the root behind this, but nobody thinks Jay-Z is the root behind the Kendrick Lamar.
I don't think that battling needs to be removed from hip hop. That's just my opinion. Y'all got to understand, this is like, when you think of music, and, this is just my opinion, rap music has already kind of been watered down for the most part. Now, could you make a case that there should be some balance? I mean, a lot of it tends to stem more towards like violence in terms of the music and the lyrics and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, we could tone it down a little bit on that. But the battling, that's like saying that they should get rid of the back and forth on Wild 'N Out when they rap to each other. Is that what you essentially saying? Like, it don't make no sense.
On Drake beef. But what's very clear is Jay-Z picked a side. Now, do I feel like, him telling Kendrick Lamar to perform was him picking a, yes, it was him picking a side, but was it a wrong decision? No, Kendrick Lamar deserved to perform at the Super Bowl. He deserves it. He had the biggest and best year of any rapper or artist that year. So he deserves it. Yeah. I 100% agree. Either him or Wayne, but Kendrick Lamar deserves it. But somebody could still deserve it, and you could still be doing the right thing while also picking sides. And we know from people like Michael Eric Dyson and others in the industry, Jay-Z has been very anti-Drake. Giving calls or texts or contacting people because they talking positive about Drake is crazy. But let me know in the comment section, what was your reaction to this interview? I particularly watched this interview from front and back. And it just came across as disingenuous. Let me know, okay? And if you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here.
All right, that's going to be the end of the video. If you ask me, it's just unfortunate that this can't just be strictly about music. it's like sometimes we may know a little bit too much about these people and what they do behind the scenes. And it should be a situation. It's not me condoning, somebody being ripped off and not getting their money, because if you genuinely signed an agreement and these people are supposed to get their money, whether it be the title situation or, the NFL and Colin Kaepernick not getting his job back and things like that. I mean, hey, the NFL, we got to remember here, we are not on our playing field. And I'm talking about my people. Like, we are not on our own playing field. We on their playing field. So when we on their playing field, we're required to suit up. You know what I mean? So if the NFL, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, sports industry, they are not going to let that Colin Kaepernick situation disrupt anything. You know what I mean? And they got ways in which they can really make you like, look, we can drain your bank account, we can take everything from you. If any of those other players had decided to do that, So yeah. As far as with this situation, with the rap, like, we just need to just keep it about rap. You know what I'm saying? We should keep battling in there. Drake and Kendrick, they could be at odds, and then maybe they can piece it up, like Nas and Jay-Z did, basically. Yeah, that's my opinion on that. Yeah, y'all get down in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think, about this situation. Did you watch the interview? What did you think of it? Did you agree with a lot of the talking points that Jay threw out there, or, do you disagree? Y'all let me know. I mean, I like Kendrick's music. I like Drake's music. And I mean, say what you want about Jay-Z, but when we talking about his catalog, like, and clearly, people still rock with Jay, because, I mean, the man put his tickets out there and it sold out within minutes. From what I read, they said it was like 1.6 million people in the queue waiting to buy tickets to go see him at Yankee Stadium in the summertime. So, and he ain't been on tour since 2017, since he dropped 444. So clearly people have been wanting to see a Jay-Z concert for a while now. So y'all get down in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Again, I'm putting this disclaimer out there. I ain't glazing nobody. I'm neutral in all of this. You know what I'm saying? So don't say I'm out here glazing nothing like that. All right? If you made it this far into my video, I appreciate you for watching. Be sure to chin check that like button. Make sure you take the subway to my channel, and be sure to sound off in the comment section until security kicks your asses out, all right? But with that being said, it's your boy Robbie. Till the next video, we out of here.